Hey guys, look, I'm wearing a Supernatural shirt. Look, there's Dean and Baby, and then Dean again. Like, oh my god, there's no one else on that shirt. So I don't know about you guys, but I like Supernatural, the show. I think it was a good show. Could have been better, but it was a good show. And I think when it ended, it was good that it ended. It was good. Not that the ending was good, but it was good that it ended. I think it's a show that suffers from running for too long. But that's not what I want to talk about today. We're going to talk about the CW's new prequel Supernatural show. Yay! So I'm making this video now because I've seen on Tumblr people posting about the CW's new prequel show. And we've heard about it for a while because Jensen Ackles, who was on Supernatural, was like, I want to make a prequel show. And he announced it on Twitter like 6 or 7 months ago. And now there's a trailer being dropped. And now the show's actually being made and it's going to be released soon. And when I say I'm not excited, I really mean it. I'm not excited for the Winchesters. You hear that? That's the sound of no excitement. Since I've seen all these posts and everything, and it's all over Twitter and Tumblr, I decided to watch the trailer. So I found it on YouTube, and I'll link it so you can watch it, I guess. My reaction is, okay, cool. I don't know. I'm not excited. Let's start with the good things, the pros. Sam's not in the show, as far as I know, because there was this whole thing where Jared Padalecki was like not told that they're making a prequel, so he's not in it at all, which I'm happy about, because I don't know if you know, but I don't like Jared Padalecki or Sam, and I'm glad that he's not gonna be in a new show that I would potentially, maybe, possibly want to watch one day. Apparently, they're cast baiting us. It's all because there was this frame in the Winchesters trailer that is literally 1 second, a fraction of a second long, and it's of Cass in Lazarus Rising entering the barn when he meets Dean for the first time. That's his first appearance. They referenced the coolest introduction they've ever put on screen ever with that one frame. So they're either telling us angels are going to be in the show or Castiel's going to be in the show. I don't believe either, but I don't know why that frame was in there if they're not going to do anything with either Cass or just the angels in general. Dean is going to be the narrator, I guess. We got these shots of him in the trailer, but I think he's only really going to be in the pilot and then have like narration throughout a little bit. I don't know. Yeah, I think those are all the good things. They weren't all that good. Anyway, cons. This part is going to be a little bit longer because I personally don't like prequel stories. The only prequels that I can think of off the top of my head are like the Minions movie and the Star Wars prequels. Minions, I think, did a little bit better because they mostly left Gru out of the movie. It's just about the Minions. The Star Wars prequels have so many problems. It's directing and editing and acting and writing, and it's all of that is just meh. When we have to end where we have to end so that the original movie can start, it's not that the story like bends unnaturally to get to that place, but there's just a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff, and because A New Hope and the other movies like mention all these specific things, you have to put all of them in your story. So it's either the prequel feels disjointed or it feels very bland because it's like this happened and then this happened and then this happened and then this happened and then now we have our original story, which you all like, and we were gonna show you like the interesting backstory, but then we had to like do this because all this stuff doesn't make sense for this to happen. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. With a TV show, a prequel can't naturally progress or escalate without ruining continuity or canon. Like, for example, the original show, Supernatural, the first season is we figure out how to defeat demons, and we find out that they exist. And the next season, we figure out how to kill demons. And then the next season, we figure out how that hell is real and hellhounds are real. And then the next season, we kill demons and we free Lucifer. And then the next season is we figure out how to kill angels and we are trying to figure out how to kill demons. And then it just keeps going and going and going. So the story naturally escalates because threats become bigger and bigger. And that's kind of a bad thing in and of itself. But if it adds to the story and makes it better, escalation isn't necessarily a bad thing. Natural progression of stories is a must when you have like multiple seasons. I'm expecting that the Winchesters will be just about John and Mary hunting, which would suck because that would be so boring. We've seen that before. And if it's just about them meeting, then it's like, that sucks because we've seen that before. This show takes place in the 70s. So Dean and Sam have not been born yet. All of the characters that we know are probably not going to be in the show. The only ones I can think of that might be in it are like Bobby and Rufus. But even then, it's like, no. Bobby met John like after Mary died. They didn't know each other until after Dean and Sam had been born. So like in the 80s. You're ruining my continuity. But since the show takes place in the 70s, canonically, no one knows that angels exist. Canonically, no one's killed a demon, and it's not possible without the cult, which no one knows about yet. No one knows it exists in the 70s. If you try to escalate the story at all, you're just like ruining it. You're ruining Supernatural, because the Supernatural world was like planned out, and like it had everything we needed to know. We found out in the past and in the present. So it's like, if you're trying to change things to make your story, your prequel, more interesting, you're ruining the continuity of this good show with a bad show. Why would you do that? That doesn't make sense. This prequel is about characters that I and a lot of fans, I won't say all of them, or even most of them, but a lot of them, don't like. John is just the worst. He canonically was abusive and a drunk and a toxic person. Maybe he wasn't when he was younger, but like those toxic things don't just pop up out of nowhere. Why are you in this? Why are you here? Your whole point was literally to like abuse your children, and force them to do something that they didn't want to do. We could talk about John and his abuse forever, for so long, and I don't want to get into it, but like, guys, it's bad. I don't want to watch a show about John. Mary, I don't like her. Some fans do like her. I don't. Personally, me, I don't like Mary. Samantha Smith is a good actress, okay? It's nothing against her. I just don't like Mary. I don't like how they wrote her. I don't like her reason for being in the story. I don't like that she was literally there to die, and that was her whole point. And then she gets forced back into the story unnaturally to create conflict, and then that's literally all she does, is she just creates conflict. And we get to explore Dean's mommy issues, but then there's no resolution, and then they just kill her again. Like, pick a lane and stick to it. Why would you bring her back if you're literally just gonna kill her again? Like, I don't get it. I don't understand. She's not even a good character. She's like gone half the time. She's really like weird and evasive, and like she's not even a good mom, even though when she was killed she was a good mom, I guess. But then she comes back and like the whole world's different, I guess. So she's not a good mom anymore just because she's living in a different world? That doesn't make sense. So the prequel's about characters we don't like. The characters that we do like, Dean, Sam, Cass, and Jack, are not in the show at all. And if they are, it's going to be like a passive observational role. And it's like, that's boring. These are my guys. And you're just going to like have them sit there even though they've saved the world like 7 times. Really? Okay. And they're not like relevant at all and all that stuff. Literally, I would not be talking about them at all because a good prequel doesn't mention the original story, like, at all. I wouldn't be talking about them, but this prequel directly is about their parents. And Dean is our narrator, so he's in the story, but he's not really in the story. He's in the show, but he's not in the story. And it just upsets me because, like, guy, what are you doing here if you're just gonna sit there and talk to us? Really? Seriously? Okay. They're not, like, relevant at all to the story. So if you bring these characters that we know into the story, but they're not relevant at all, why are they there? If they're not relevant, cut them out. If they are relevant, then, like, why did you end Supernatural if you're just gonna keep making Supernatural? That's my question. Like, why not just make, like, a sequel show instead of a prequel? That doesn't make sense. I don't like it. Oh, but you can't. Oh, fuck. Also, this prequel rehashes things that we already know. In season 4 of Supernatural, episode 3, titled In the Beginning, we literally see John and Mary during this time period that this show's taking place in. And it's like, they're dating, they're about to get engaged, and then all this stuff happens, and Mary makes a choice to save John because she loves him rather than lose him. And then we get like a whole catalyst for the apocalypse, and it really ties well into the story of season 4. So this show, The Winchesters, is about John and Mary meeting and hunting together. But, like, that's not canon. They never hunted together. Mary never told John that she was a hunter. Mary never told John about the supernatural. John didn't know that the supernatural existed until after Mary died, because the thing killed her, and then he was like, I need revenge, and then he starts hunting everything in sight because he wants to kill the thing that killed Mary. So John didn't know about hunting at all. And in the trailer, they show us the Men of Letters. John didn't know about the Men of Letters until after Mary died, and even if he did, he thought they were a fairy tale. The show also tells us that John's dad died before he was born. But in Supernatural, we see Henry Winchester talk to his, like, 7 or 8 year old son and then disappear forever. Are you gonna change those 8 years? You're gonna ruin that? Really? Okay. Okay, cool. And then also, this is just nitpicking. In 1973, which is when season 4, episode 3 takes place, Mary is 18. The Winchesters takes place in 1972, and Mary is 19. How are you able to be a year older a year ago? That's my question. How is she 19 in 1972, but 18 in 1973? That's my question. Also, they picked, like, actors that look sort of like the younger actors from Supernatural that play John and Mary. Like, sorta. But then they take out all the, like, 70s stuff. Like, John is basically the same, I guess. But Mary now looks like a Instagram influencer. Alright, cool. Makes sense. Totally makes sense. The last thing I wanted to say is that this show feels really pointless and unnecessary. And it's like, if they don't change any of the canon from Supernatural, then we've already seen this before and it's going to be boring. And if they do change things, then it breaks canon, breaks Supernatural, and then it's just, at that point, it's like, just make a different show with different characters and just do that with them. Just make it a different universe. And they're just forgetting, like, little key details, and it just bugs me. But it's fine. So basically, I'm not going to watch this show unless Misha Collins is casted in the show, and I have visual proof of him in the show. If he's not in it, I'm not watching the show. I'm sorry, Jensen. I'm sure your show will be lovely. I just don't want to watch it. I'm not excited about this show. I hope it dies in development hell. If it does ever get out, then we should use it as evidence to shut the CW down forever. Just shut it down for good. Just get it out. Get it out of there. Yeah, I think that's everything. Okay, bye.